How are you doing, guys? ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to touch on regarding of Grand Theft Auto 6. Now there are two very credible leakers that have mentioned practically the same thing regarding of the release of for the Grand Theft Auto 6. And unfortunately, there's some not very good news, and actually maybe there's two not very good news. And as such, I wanted to have a little bit of discussion regarding it because it's been already a while since we actually heard something at least credible in terms of the Grand Theft Auto 6. And I'm very much looking forward to this game, but there's still things that needs to be considered, and I will mention all that near the end of the video, and of course with the continuation and sharing my thoughts about this. Now, these two leakers, that they're credible, one of them is Test2. He's always been about Grand Theft Auto and everything, and basically anytime he mentions something related towards Grand Theft Auto, well, he's got a very good reputation, so, you can actually assume that he's pretty much correct. Now, there's still a possibility that this is just a rumor, it just basically means nothing. But also, second hand, Tom Henderson. Tom Henderson was also in the past, and, basically anything he mentions is pretty much true. A lot of cases, not exactly 100%, like as an example, like Jason Schreier. But Test2 and Tom Henderson, this is definitely a big deal then in this case. So Test2 basically mentions this on the GTA forums regarding of the Grand Theft Auto 6, and this is exactly what he mentions. They're aimed, and they're talking about the Grand Theft Auto, aimed always changing, not set in stone. Deadline is holiday 2024, which has been pushed back multiple times the past few years. Unfortunately, it could slip into early of 2025 as well. Speaking of which, most companies are returning with a forced return to office policy to revert back to pre-pandemic days. Activision Blizzard has already met with the internal backlash. Rockstar is no different. The debate and consequences of the policy is a whole nother topic. With almost the entirety of the workforce in office, Rockstar could be more firm about the announcement this year, yet losing work talent could very much lead to more delays. I personally see an announcement as given this year. I don't think the upper management is in position to delay further to a holiday of 2025 or 2026. Cutting more portion of the game to package into DLCs to release later on may be sustainable for the management than delaying it further. To be honest with you, I would rather them delaying it further. So here's the first piece of bad news, that just so they can meet the release of that date or whatever the window of the release that they want to, they would rather cut out the content and just present it as a DLC, but also knowing how profitable the Grand Theft Auto Online is, I think they're just gonna completely cut out that content from single player and implement in some ways into the online mode, and that's just gonna be extremely bad news basically. And with its further delays that they actually had already made internally, and also losing so many work talent, and on top of that, with the criticism of reverting back to the office, said that was in the pre-pandemic days, it's all very bad news basically. There's always some things that is a big issue. I personally think they need to return to the office because it's like, so you're, because of the comfort of the home, you want to stay there and work, because it's just more easier for you. But also we have to understand the workflow, right? It's not as consistent due to that. When you're home, you feel you're home, you're not actually at work, and that's the problem. Everything gets delayed, everything slows down quite a serious pace, and also that actually makes it difficult to communicate with the staff and the management and stuff like that. I think that they need to not just them, pretty much everyone needs to come back into to the office. But yes, I do see the necessity of having working from home as well. I mean, I see the both ways in it, but I personally think if you want to be a lot more productive, you need to be in a work office. So anyway, the other thing, that's just another different topic, by the way. So the thing I want to mention is Grand Theft Auto, the release. I personally do not think that it's coming out of holiday 2024. I actually think it will be coming out on holiday of 2025. Due to that, Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive, basically, they're very notorious, basically, really delaying their games, and even though they're officially announcing those release dates. So, I'm certain that the announcement properly for the first case, in terms of the first teaser for this game, will be this year. I personally think maybe even at the later date of this year, maybe sometime like September, October, November of 2023. And then just like how they have done it before with the repeated pattern, basically saying that they will be releasing the game in 2024, but then closer we get to the halfway through the 2024, and then they delay it again to perhaps like sometime like in spring of 2025. Closer we get to spring 2025, then they delay it for the last time, sometime September, October of 2025. So yeah, that's what I think they're gonna do. It's pretty much the exact same thing as I have anticipated about, I don't know, years back. Basically, I even said it that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be coming out at the end of 2025, and so far, I'm maybe leaning towards the correct, kind of assumption, I should say. So, okay, this is coming from Test2. He's the one that broke this news regarding it, but also with the feedback coming from Tom Henderson, he kind of clarifies and backs it up regarding this information. So this is exactly coming from the InsiderGaming.com, and he mentions regarding this as well. Test2 reputable Rockstar Insider has suggested on the GTA forums that Grand Theft Auto 6 is likely to be released this year, with a tentative release date of the 2024. According to my own reports, which date back in June of 2021, this seems to be the case. My sources have said that Grand Theft Auto 6 has been aiming for 2024 release date for some time. But speculation and past reveal releases scheduled of the likes of Grand Theft 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 suggest that the game will be delayed until 2025. If I were to guess, I believe that the game will be released in holiday of 2025 instead of the spring. Just as I said, he feels the same. He actually mentions the same thing. As for when the announcement is made is unclear, but typically Rockstar Games like to announce its big reveals on its own. So to set expectations, I wouldn't necessarily expect the game to be announced at E3. Instead, I expect some form of reveal trailer in Q4 of 2023 to coincide with the past reveals. Well, exactly as mentioned. According to my own sources, one of the major reasons for such a long-winded delay is that Grand Theft Auto 6 will release on the current generation consoles only, with a tentative of 2024 date being planned as far back of 2021. It was a means of ensuring that Grand Theft Auto 6 would have a sufficient console market to release on. That's awesome because, they need to move on, right? They do not need to release again on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Those consoles are now out of date. I actually even argued to say that they shouldn't even bother with the Xbox Series S because this is a whole nother conversation. Xbox Series S is seriously holding back a lot of games out there, and Rockstar are gonna be no exception to it, unfortunately, as well. So like Xbox Series X, PC of course, and a PlayStation 5 are the only consoles that they should be concentrated. Yes, I'm talking about even excluding the hell out of those dumbass Series S's that seriously, like I said, just for no apparent reason, holding gaming back, quite seriously, in fact. So anyway, that's just my opinion. Of course, anything can be changed due to that, and hopefully Microsoft does something about it by that time of the release of Grand Theft Auto. Maybe they'll come up with this next generation version of, I don't know, Xbox Series S or something, or maybe they completely abandon it would be the best option. But again, I see why the profit is there. I see why they did it though anyway, with that console. Okay, so continuing on, in late 2022, Rockstar Games has security breach that resulted in over 70 videos of Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay surfacing online. And its subsequent earning calls, Take-Two Interactive addressed investors to state that the leaks was unfortunate, but they believed it had no impact on the development. I remember seeing all those leaks as well, and man, it did obviously it looked pretty rough, and obviously it was not polished up to the degree it was expected from Rockstar Games. But again, we don't even know the release date, and of course, they have plenty of time to do so until the finalizing of the game itself. And as such, everything that I've noticed, it did look good in terms of the core element, but again, the polish wasn't exactly there, so I'm not going to be faulting them for it. But yeah, it was definitely unfortunate, but also because we have not seen anything from Rockstar for the past few, decades, I want to even say, right, except their own Grand Theft Auto Online. It's just I was hungry for news. Anybody will be hungry for news, because we're about to reach a decade anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 5. Can you believe that? In September of 2023 will be one full decade, 10 years. and we still do not have a follow-up Grand Theft Auto game. That's just ludicrous. And as such, they mentioned, and this is coming as a quote, there's no evidence that any material assets were taken, which is good news, well, it's a good thing, and certainly the leaks won't have any influence on the development or anything of the sort. But it's terribly disappointing that causes us to be even more vigilant on matters relating to the cybersecurity, it was said. As for Grand Theft Auto 6, for now, we'll need to continue sitting tight and see what gets announced in a hopefully near future. So yeah, what do you think about this, guys, as well? Like, I'm very much curious to see if this actually will plan out as the way I mentioned. Like I said, the reveal, the very first reveal, and well, I should say even a teaser and a reveal basically of coming this year, at the end of this year. And they'll say, like I said, they'll release it following year of 2024, but they're gonna delay it again and again, and it's gonna go all the way, pushed all the way back and finalizing the proper date and actually releasing the game at the end of 2025, because obviously with the fall and Black Friday and November sales, that's just like the most majority of the profits that Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive can make. So that's why I think that they will do that. But still, they mentioned that they cannot really keep on delaying this game because it would be kind of insane, right? But they even stated that they are even looking into cutting out the content just so they can implement it as a DLC, just so they can actually hit that 2024 release date. Well, release year, I should say, right? And that's actually concerning because I do not want them to cut out anything. But unless if the game is like as big as Red Dead Redemption 2 and they cut out the content then, I don't think that will be a big problem. But also, I'm worried what's going to happen to that content, like I said, right? What's going to happen to it? Is it going to go to Grand Theft Auto Online like as a DLC or something? I don't want that, because Rockstar and Take-Two are definitely not going to do a DLC for Grand Theft Auto 6, even though they perhaps mention a little bit, something like they've said in Grand Theft Auto 5, that there would be a DLC, and look how that turned out to be. It's just like totally not true. There's no DLC at all for the single player mode, and of course I do not expect any sort of DLC for the Grand Theft Auto 6 either. Alright guys, that's just sharing my little bit of my thoughts as well with the inevitable release of Grand Theft Auto 6, and man, hopefully it comes here sooner rather than later. Alright guys, like and subscribe, see you guys all, and have a wonderful day.